What is revealed about human nature from Genesis 1 and 2? God intended it for good. A verse example is Genesis 1:31. This verse says, God saw all that he made, and it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning. So mankind was created in God's image, which gives us like a bit of human nature because since we're created in God's image, we have some of God's attributes like truthfulness, loving, faithfulness, and like patience. All those attributes. There's so many attributes we got from God, but that creates our human nature. Another thing is mankind shouldn't be alone. So our human nature is not intended to be alone. We need people around us. And Genesis 2:18 says, "The Lord God said, it is not good for man to be alone. I'll make a helper suitable for him." So in Genesis 2, it's the story about Adam and like how he was alone and God was like, "You know what? I don't like this." So he was like, "I'm going to create a woman for Adam." And he literally created Eve. He was like, "Okay, now like man is good." Lastly, humans have the gift to reason. So this kind of goes back to God's image, and one of the attributes he has given us is the gift to reason and knowledge. So, unlike animals, we have a knowledge of God's will and purpose for us, and we understand creation. Animals are just there, they don't know why they've been created, how, and like they don't have that relationship with God that we do. So, what are the consequences of the fall for human nature? One of the consequences is painful childbirth. And Genesis 3:16 says, "To the woman he says, I will greatly multiply your pain in childbirth. In pain you will bring forth children."
In the pantheistic view, there is no idea of a life after death. Similar to heaven and hell, we believe there's a good place or a bad place where you would go after you die based on how you were doing your lifetime and how you act. However, in pantheism, they don't believe in any sort of afterlife reward or consequences. They believe that how you act will be how you act no matter the end result. Pantheism is the idea where God and the universe are equal as one. In this view, the followers are often seen as one with nature or nature enthusiasts. They are very in touch with the earth. The reason for them being so in touch with Earth and seen as these Earth lovers and enthusiasts is because of the idea that God and the universe are one together, and since the Earth is part of the universe, this is where the idea for the love and unity comes from. In the readings and textbooks, the idea of evil and suffering is questioned with why, because God is seen as all-powerful, all-good, all-knowing, so if he's all these things that are so great, why does he allow for evil and suffering in the world? This is because he gives humans free will because he wants them to love him in a form of true love instead of a forced love. So they are given the option to feel this for him, and with the option to do good and feel love for him and for each other, they are also given the option to do bad and evil. Another reason that I read on the reason that all these bad and evil things happen in the world is because God uses these obstacles to build us with our love and our faith in him. Just because we may not see it or understand or feel it, we have to understand that he has a plan and he knows what the big picture and the end goal is, and we are just one piece in that big puzzle.
Abuse in the modern world. There are many types of abuse, including domestic abuse, sexual abuse, and animal abuse. Domestic abuse is usually against a spouse or child, and is not limited to physical abuse. It can be emotional or verbal. Every kind of abuse leaves victims. Those victims are scarred for life and are deprived of their dignity by their abusers. The victims are treated as mere objects with little to no value.
The Christian organization that has been chosen is Grace, and they help those who have been abused. Their mission is to care for the vulnerable, to reflect their love for God, and this organization uses Proverbs 31:8 and 9 for their message. And Proverbs 31:8 and 9 states that, "But you must defend those who are helpless and have no hope. Be fair and give justice to the poor and homeless." This is their background and foundation of their organization. So Grace's attempt to stopping dehumanization is that they believe Christians must listen to the hurt and support the broken and defend the vulnerable. They also believe church can be a safer place for those who have been abused, and also feel like Christians should reflect Jesus and stand up for the weak and hurting. Grace also wants us to hold those accountable of abuse. We must expose those who are abusing others, but not in a way where it is dehumanizing. It should be in a way where we help the offender and the victim at the same time, so that way the problem could be solved. They also believe churches must stop abuse or it contradicts the commands of Jesus. Grace provides books and resources to help those who have been abused, and they also provide books and resources for people who want to help those who have been abused. So a God-centered worldview is that God should be the center of our lives according to the mystery of original sin. Obedience to God can bring freedom in our lives, and it allows us to return to the center, which is God, who can save us from our failures. This can be a solution to abuse because we'll know what to do in these situations by having God at the center of our lives and guiding us to help people who have been abused. Grace wants to be faithful and obedient to the scriptures and teachings. They also believe in educating God's people about his teachings. Doing this will teach people to love the hurt and vulnerable. Both emphasize the teachings of God. God and his teachings can be the center of our lives, and knowing his teachings can help us know what to do in these certain situations. And knowing God's teachings is the solution to helping those that are abused.